Can we share this? Can this work for other people? But there was a problem. Calories in, calories out. Timing wasn't supposed to make a difference. We're physicians. We know this stuff, right? Why would timing matter? We had no good explanation for that. So I dove into this scientific literature trying to find out, trying to solve this little mystery. And looking through stuff that dated back to the 1930s, I started seeing how much influence industry had had on our perceptions about diet and eating. And that's where I learned about things like breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But I also learned that the solution to the timing question was a fairly obvious thing. It was based on stuff I'd learned in the first year of medical school and was too boring to be thinking about later. So I put the pieces together, put them in a book, and my wife and I founded this company called Fast 5 to try to encourage other people to give this tool a try. And so we printed this book, and it comes down to one rule, 5 words. Eat within 5 consecutive hours. So what's the rest of the book about? It's talking about explaining how it actually works. But it does come down to that one rule, 5 hours. And that 5 hours can be at any time during the day, meaning it can be an evening window of 5 hours, a morning window of 5 hours, doesn't matter. And what you choose to eat during that window is also up to the individual. It can be my plate, it can be healthy plate, it can be vegetarian, it can be kosher, it can be halal. Whatever a person chooses to eat can fit within the Fast 5 program. It is the timing that makes the difference. For some people, Fast 5 is like Cinderella's slipper. They're overweight, they've been overweight for as long as they can remember, obese. They try it on, it fits perfectly, and their whole life changes. And because of that, with us just having a website and very little else, a bunch of emails back and forth to people, Fast 5 has spread to those 6 continents. 7 if you count penguins. But penguins fast for 3 months at a time, and so I think they've taken it a little too far. So, translated into the various languages by people who wanted to share this idea that worked for them in their own language with their own countrymen. And there are Facebook groups, Yahoo groups with over 3,000 members. So people are out there sharing it, sharing what works for them. This is one tool in the arsenal that people can try and see if it works for them. That's why I call it the study of one. You don't have to ask somebody else if it's healthy. You can find out for yourself. Does it work for you or doesn't it? That's what the study of one is about. So this is how you can get started on a study of one. And this doesn't have to be about Fast 5. A study of one can approach any question that you have. Is this healthy for me or not? And what I've learned from emailing all these people about Fast 5 is that people don't often trust their own sense of what's good for them. They need it to come from outside. And I'm saying you can trust yourself. You can trust your body. It's good at this. And this is the way you can get started. You take measurements. The first 3 you can do at home. The last 2 are lab tests. And there may be others that your doctor would recommend based on whatever change you're making and you want to give it a try. Now, I ask for a little bit of common sense. You don't want a pulse of 0. You don't want a blood pressure of 0. But within the range of common sense, all these numbers are the lower the better. So it's fairly simple to navigate with these. The lower the better. And HbA1c is a measure of the average blood glucose over the last couple of months. So it just gives an average measurement to let you know where you've been. HSCRP is a measure of the amount of inflammation that's going on anywhere in the body. Inflammation is our body's primary tool for treating anything. It's its only tool. It just throws inflammation at anything that goes wrong. So if anything is going wrong, inflammation goes up, and if everything is quiet and good, it goes down. And you may be wondering where cholesterol, excuse me, where cholesterol is on this. Cholesterol has 11 subtypes and lots of different risk factors that have to be integrated, so it doesn't make for an easy choice or an easy guide. The study of one is like navigating the old-fashioned way. You check your position, you set your course, you travel it for a while, and then you stop and you check again. And if things are looking good, you keep going the same way. And if they're not looking good, you change course and do something differently. Now, 2 or 3 months is a long time. It'd be nice to have a GPS where you eat a candy bar and it says, oh, you're going downhill. And then it says, make a U-turn. And then you eat a salad and it says, recalculating. Well, we don't have that yet. Maybe. For right now, we just have the study of one. But what the study of one does is tell you what's healthy for you with your activity, your choices, your diet, your stress level, your environment, and your genes. It doesn't say what's healthy for some lab rat or some person who's in a paid study in an ivory tower somewhere. It's what matters for you. In addition to those tests and measurements, I also say, how do you feel? Because your body has a network of monitors called nerves that you can count on to tell you what's going on, but they don't print out numbers, so you have to record, maybe assign a scale of 1 to 10 to say how you're feeling, how are your aches and pains, are you feeling energetic and sharp or not? And with those, you can guide yourself on what's healthy for you. Now, there's another mystery about Fast 5, and that is, how do animals control their level of fat? Not too little, not too much. It'd be nice if it were happening for humans too. They have some fat for reserve, but you never see animals just eating and eating until they blow up like pufferfish. Fast 5 seems to turn on the same mechanism for humans, to get just the right amount of appetite to keep the fat in balance. Not too much, not too little. We still do not know how that works, but I trust that it does. And you can try, if you would like to try Fast 5, you can see if it works for you too. Now, let's go back to the athlete. Lots of muscle, right? This isn't the 40-year-old. This is a 70-year-old. Let's look at all three for comparison. On top, 40-year-old, middle, 70-year-old, 74-year-old sedentary. On the bottom, 70-year-olds and very active. This is why the fact that muscle is use it or lose it is why there's more to diet than just food. And this doesn't stop at muscle cells. Use it or lose it applies to brain cells. And it applies to the body as a whole. Whether we're used and active and important to our community, that matters. And so my idea of a healthy plate looks something like this. You say, well, where are the veggies? There's some little dot in this physical part, so small that you can't even